Hello, I'm Arturo. I'm part of the developer relations team with Matt, Russell, and Esteban. Please reach out to us if you have any question, if you want to talk about Unity or game development. We're here to help. I want to call out that for many years now, you as part of the Unity community, you've been building amazing games of different scales, genres, themes. Your teams are of different sizes, and we see today that the landscape of the industry is different, right? We've seen more live games, and that's what we are going to talk about today. So what do I mean by live games? Essentially games that keep improving the player's experience even after they launch. So think of this as a multiplayer game, or games that have content updates, or games that allow your players to connect to each other, worlds that persist. That's what I mean by live games. And for that, that's where Unity Gaming Services comes to play. So UGS is a platform that solves the developer challenges of building these live games. It's a modular platform. It includes multiplayer solutions, game up solutions, user acquisition, and monetization solutions as well. So if you're a team of one person, if you are a team of 100, if you're building with Unity, Unreal, or any engine, we're here to support you in achieving your goals. Here's a snapshot of all the products under the UGS platform. I'm not going to go into detail any of these. I just want to call out a couple of things that I find interesting. The first thing is that the platform allows you to work the way you want. So you just need to implement and integrate the services that you need for the problem that you're trying to solve. The services are free to use. You can start for free, and you only have to pay as the game grows. It depends if like concurrent users or data usage, etc. We have the pricing page, so you can get the information that you need. Another thing is that all the services live on the same platform, on the same dashboard, so you don't need to deal with multiple data sources, etc. Everything is integrated into the Unity dashboard. The last thing that I'm going to mention is that with analytics, you can make data-driven decisions or data-driven informed decisions about things such as your matchmaking functions, right? You can you have a matchmaking function, and you want to see if there's another one that might have a positive impact in your game or your player's experience. So you run an A/B test, you get the results, and you can say, okay, this one's better than the other. So that's enough slides. I'm going to then show you a demo about authentication. Then Esteban will talk about multiplayer services, Russell will talk about backend solutions, and finally Matt will talk about analytic solutions. So authentication. Authentication allows you to, of course, authenticate your users either with anonymous sign-in or, what makes more sense, using a third party such as Steam or Google Play Games. And let's jump into the demo. So this is the Unity dashboard. This is the entry point to Unity Gaming Services. If you don't have a Unity ID, you will need to create an account. Although if you've used the Unity editor, you probably have a Unity ID. So you just need to sign in. I'm gonna sign in with my account. And we're here. So what I want to do here, remember, we're implementing the authentication service in my project. I need to have a project in the dashboard. I need to create one, and then I need to link it into my editor. In this case, I'm using Unity, so I'm going to link it with my Unity project. To create one, I just need to create a new project, although I'm going to use one that I already have here configured. So is this project over here? It's called Magic 3. Now I need to link it into a project in Unity. So this is my game. It's a project that I'm working on. I need to link it by going to Edit, Project Settings, and then on the Services section, you will have the option to create a new project, which will create a project in the dashboard as well, or to link it. I've already linked it here with the project that I created previously, so I don't need to do anything else. That's it. We have a link between my project in the dashboard and my Unity project over here. The next step is to get the authentication package. What I'm going to show you here is particular for authentication, although for all the services, the workflow is kind of similar. What changes is the interaction with the API. So I'm going to close here and I'm going to open the package manager to download and install the package into my project. So in the Unity registry, I simply search, similar to how we do this with any other package, we just simply search for authentication and install it in my project. Okay, so it's installed. The packages come with samples. I'm not going to use the sample over here. The next thing is interacting with the API. So what I want to do is once my player starts playing, the player authenticates, and then we can do other stuff with that authentication. Let me show you the script real quick of how this looks like in the implementation. Essentially, we're just doing an asynchronous call to the authentication service instance, and we're signing in anonymously. If you want to sign in with Steam or Google Play Games, you will need to interact with those services. In this case, we're just going to sign in anonymously, and we're gonna get a randomly generated ID for our players. The rest of the script is really not relevant to what we're doing here. I just want to show you the namespaces that we're interacting here with. And now let's click play and see if this is working. So I click play. You see here that I have this connect button. And what I'm doing right now only is sending a message to the console, printing the ID of my player over here. So this player is unique to myself. There's no way to know really who I am or who my player is. It's just to know that this player has some data assigned to them. We also have here on their services the authentication option to configure the different identity providers over here. I'm not going to show you how to do this, but so you can see that the options are there. So let's continue with the rest of the demos.
Hello, my name is Esteban Maldonado, and I'll talk to you about the UGS multiplayer stack. These services help you make your next multiplayer experience a reality. You have access to the development foundation of synchronizing game and world data across clients, taking your project online with either peer-to-peer connections or server hosting. And there's also additional services like voice and text chat or a customizable matchmaker system. Here's the list of services available in this multiplayer tier of UGS. Netcode for Game Objects is the high-level library that lets you code the necessary logic for you to synchronize that data across all clients. This package includes tools to simulate latency conditions when debugging. As the name suggests, Lobby is the service that lets you organize lobby data in your game. This service lets you create either private or public lobbies where players can join in before a game session. The Relay service lets your players connect with each other and play together using peer-to-peer connections, which does not require a dedicated game server to share that same experience. We recommend trying Relay as a first option for testing your multiplayer experience online. With VBox, you can actually add voice and text chat features to your game so that players can communicate more efficiently online. With game server hosting or multiplay, this is an alternative to Relay we also provide, which lets you have a dedicated game server that runs the gameplay logic for all of your clients. This is the more advanced solution for people that want to take their project online, but it can result in a much smoother experience. The additional benefit of Multiplay is that it also works for Unity and non-Unity projects alike. And with Matchmaker, you have access to a developer-configured match logic, a customizable evaluator, and a matchmaking loop with scheduled next match function execution. All of these services are good, but I'm not going to be able to cover all of them today. I'm going to show you our game lobby sample, which features the foundational services of Netcode for Game Objects, Relay, and Lobby, all of them working together in this very simple but solid game sample. This game sample is already available for you to download on our GitHub repository. Okay, so we're here at the Unity dashboard, where I'm actually going to show you how you actually enable some of these multiplayer services. You first, after you created your first game project, might not necessarily be the first one, but after you create it, and if you want to enable multiplayer services, you go ahead and proceed to the multiplayer section, and you have your options for many options from here to choose from. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to Relay, and this is very easy. Like the actual way to enable this or turn this service on, you actually just one button click and a little prompt that tells you the benefit of displaying or using the Relay service. Turn it on, and that's it. Now you have access to using Relay on your project. And if we go over to the Lobby section, same thing. Lobby is currently turned off. Repeat the same process again. And now we have it here. And you can actually do the same thing with VBox, which, by the way, the game lobby sample also this shows you how to enable VBox, although I'm not gonna actually show it, but that's an additional benefit. And you could turn it on or off as you wish. Okay, now we're actually gonna see the game lobby sample in action. I'm gonna be running two instances of the project, one of them on the left, which is gonna be on the Unity project itself, and one is gonna be on a built instance on the right. That's gonna be the second client. So let's go ahead and start this. I'm gonna start running the left hand side, which is gonna be I'm gonna make this one the host, and start up this. Let me actually move it over here. There we go, side by side. And as you can see, by default we see no lobbies found because nobody else is actually playing the game. So let's go ahead and create our first lobby. Right here, you go to the create section and input the lobby name. Let's call it lobby number 1 and create. And there you go. You created your first lobby in the sample, and for now, you're the only user, and up to 4 people can join in on this lobby. Now let's go ahead and start the sample on the other side. And we see that there's already a lobby available. So I'm gonna go ahead and join. It's actually connecting me between the two. This is thanks to the Relay service. And there we go. Now both users are in the lobby. And one neat little thing is that they can actually communicate with these little emojis. As you can see, I sent this smiley face from this side, and then the host of the lobby actually receives it here, and we can reply as well. Now let's actually go ahead and show the minigame portion of this. This is a very cool feature that this sample has. So let's go ahead and click on the ready buttons, because that means that this player is already ready to proceed to the gameplay session, and it won't start until all players agree that they're ready. So let's go ahead and start the little countdown. And now our minigame is actually starting. The instructions are very simple. See these little icons on the left? What you're gonna see is that they're gonna be starting to fall, and you have to click on them, but you have to click on them on the right order, and whoever clicks on the most icons wins. So I'm gonna be playing here on the left for a little while, and notice on the right that while I'm moving the mouse, you can see on the right hand side on the opponent that it actually gets reflected. So you can see where your opponent is clicking. This is thanks to netcode for game objects that is synchronizing this position and allows you to create this sort of gameplay logic. Let's go ahead and give a little break to the player on the right hand side. So, oops, a little bit behind. So let's go ahead, give this one a few points. And as you can see, all of these objects get created at the same time, and they get synchronized in their movement, in their scale, and their rotation. A few more points here. And then this little mini game ends, and in the end, it actually shows you the results of who won and who lost. Yeah, there you go. Player number one won. And the game sample automatically returns you to the lobby where you once were, and you can actually proceed and go back to the mini game phase if you want it as well. One additional feature that I wanted to show you is that let's go ahead and have both of these actually exit. So right now there's no lobbies created. What we created earlier was a public lobby. If you go ahead and click on this private icon here, let's go ahead and change this to lobby 1 private. As you can see, we created the lobby same as before, but the interesting thing is that even though we've refreshed the list of lobbies here, it's not found. Why? Because we actually created a private lobby. And one of the cool things that this sample shows is that the lobby service gives you a lobby code that represents this lobby. So imagine that your players, they want one of them wants to have a private session, so they actually have to manually give this code to whoever they want to join on the session. So I'm gonna take advantage of that here since I already see the code, and it's 3DP-H6. And there we go. So remember that this game sample is already available for you to download. Definitely go ahead and take a look at the code, play with it, test it out. And if you have any questions, definitely reach out to us. We're happy to help.
Unity Gaming Services also includes a suite of tools to help support developers with game backend solutions. So these are tools that you would be using to help engage your audience and keep your game growing as a service. So for example, authentication. It's the ability for your players to securely log in and developers to track that player data cross-platform and cross-device. Cloud save. This is the ability for your players to save their data to the cloud rather than to their device locally. This allows developers to manage a persistent player data storage that allows you to better target them if they transition from their phones to their laptops or consoles, again empowering cross-platform play. Next up is Cloud Code. And Cloud Code is the ability to offload logic from your local project or game to our cloud services. And this also allows your game to fetch logic without needing to download or patch the game, which means that you're able to have scripts that rely on the server without having to have that logic be local to the client. So for example, this would be really useful for anti-cheating behavior. So you don't want to expose the logic for some of your AI to the player, and so you host that on the cloud. And next up is economy. So this is the ability to really easily create, manage, publish, and edit a whole inventory and economy system for your game, including in-app purchases, but also for in-game currencies that are earned during gameplay and items that you can pick up and earn in the game. Again, so it's a convenient dashboard that you can quickly and easily edit the cost of these items without having to deploy any downloads or patching to your game. So if you're a designer, this will be a much more friendly way to engage and change things and iterate and test for your project without having to dig into code at all. And next up is cloud content delivery. So cloud content delivery allows you to offload heavier assets and textures and data from your game to the cloud, which allows the player to have a smaller install size so that players don't have to have that friction point of downloading a really large mobile game. Instead, the data that they need, for example, the second level, is not downloaded with the game, but when they reach that point, it streams that data to their device, which allows you to reduce the install size of your games and a more smooth experience for your players. So let's take a look at Mainframe, which is a sci-fi collectible game that we've built to showcase these back-end gaming solutions in a production-ready environment. We have economy, cloud code, cloud save, and remote config working together in Mainframe to showcase how they can work seamlessly together. Players choose either a virus or bot deck, and they play against a computer opponent. They are able to customize their deck, which showcases cloud save, and it has an in-game shop very similar to what you would see in today's marketplace, which represents our economy. So let's take a look at the project. So this is our Mainframe login screen, and as you can see, users are able to sign in anonymously. Authentication also supports existing platforms such as Meta and Steam. So let's take a look at the game. So as you can see, we have a typical storefront to represent the ability to purchase cards and decks for the game. And so let's change these prices because they look a little expensive. So if we go to the dashboard, once you've linked your project to your organization, you'll be able to navigate to this Live Ops tab and then go to the configuration. And as you can see, each of these cards are represented as an inventory item under our economy configuration. And if we go to the prices of the regular bot deck and the regular virus deck, you'll be able to see that it is a virtual purchase, which consists of the various items that exist for this bundle, such as the other cards and the number of them. And this is just a way for you to keep your system organized for your players to understand purchases and the ability to edit these on the fly. So as you can see, the current cost of this deck is $4.99. So let's make it $2.50, and we'll hit save there. And let's go back to the virus deck. And let's change that to $4.50. You're also able to add custom data to your economy inventory items. For example, the color of a sword, or some other statistics that are more relevant for your game. And this is just the ability to get a little bit more information from the economy item when you make a request from your game. And if we go back here and we publish that change, we go back to Mainframe, and the next time your user engages with the store, you'll see that the prices of these items have changed, completely without code from a dashboard interface, and no patching or downloading required for your players at all. So let's take a look at some of the gameplay of Mainframe. And as I mentioned before, the AI for the computer opponent is hosted on Cloud Code, which is really great because users don't have exposure to the logic of the game. So you're able to obscure and protect that data. So this is also really useful for things like verification of ownership. So for example, for Mainframe, we have a deck validation that is able to verify that these cards are owned by the players. And let's take a look at the Cloud Code dashboard then. So as I mentioned before, this AI script, which is currently written in JavaScript, but C# support is coming very shortly, controls the AI's actions. And so the Unity front end is just querying this script and then taking the visual representation of what the AI is doing. For example, targeting, summoning creatures, or attacking the player. other scripts that we have on Cloud Code are the deck validator, which is essentially communicating with the economy API to confirm that the cards that the user is trying to play with are actually owned by the player. And so something really nice about the Cloud Code dashboard is that you're able to run the scripts here and see the expected output without having to, build and deploy, which is super useful for when you're debugging. We also have a simple deck shuffler, which essentially randomizes the order of the cards, as you can see here. And again, this is just an example of some of the logic that you might want to obscure from your player, and so you host that on our Cloud Code service. If we go back to the project, we can now take a look at the deck editor, which represents our cloud save implementation. So as you can see here, users are able to create a custom deck and add cards to it. So this one is called To the Rescue. So if we search for the player ID of the currently logged in player, we're able to take that player ID, go to the Find Player option under Cloud Save, sort that player, and as you can see, we are able to have a representation of that data of the user's custom deck, including cards that are included. And this is a way to allow your users to have cross-platform functionality, because users can play and create a custom deck on their phone, but then transition to playing the same game on their laptop or console and have that data persist with them since it's hosted on the cloud. Another thing that Mainframe utilizes really well is the remote config. And so as you can see, we have a card here called script, and it seems like this value is a little bit high. So let's take a look at how remote config can help us with that. So remote config is essentially a key value pair between logic on your game. So for example, the cards in the game are represented in this JSON file, and this data is custom. We were able to generate it ourselves, so you can create one that's unique for your project and game. So let's change this to UGS script for the name of the card, and we want to reduce that damage pretty dramatically. So let's drop that to 2 and maybe give it a health buff. We hit confirm and publish. We're now able to take a look back in the project, and again, the next time the user engages with the card, we're able to see that change has been able to occur in real time essentially. And so again, without any downloading or patching required, you're now able to deploy balance changes to your game immediately. And another really powerful tool with this is game overrides. Remote config and game overrides work together to create the ability to do something called A/B testing. So for example, if you would like to see if the audience that, for example, are new players, and let's target 100% of them, and we want to give them a balance change for that card. So for example, half of them will receive the 2 damage and 5 health UGS script card, and the other half will receive the original script with 30 damage but only 1 health, And so you're able to easily generate this A/B test and then track the changes through our analytics dashboard, which means that you're able to immediately see the impact of your changes in a quick and easy fashion for A/B testing, which in the past would be, a pretty complex process, but we've simplified it because of these services functioning within one dashboard and in one umbrella. And now I would like to show the ease of implementation for something like remote config. So as I mentioned before, remote config is the ability for your game to reference a key value pair that's hosted on the dashboard. So in this example, we have remote config manager as an instance. And when the authentication manager sign-in happens, we subscribe to this sign-in event. We have strings to represent the data that we want to fetch from the remote config service. So in this case, that library JSON, the card effects, and some match rewards. And as you see here, for that sign-in event, as soon as the remote config fetch happens, we apply this remote settings function. You're able to even customize the user ID, the environment ID for remote config for ease of development. And we are calling this fetch configs function, passing through these user and app attribute structs. So this would be for custom targeting via game overrides. You could pass through a specific user ID, specific version of the game, things like that. But the real meat of this script is under the apply remote settings function, where essentially we're able to verify if any settings were loaded, there were any cached settings, and under here, if there were settings, we'll fetch that JSON from the dashboard, and we're able to have a reference to it in our project to then calculate and do logic with. And so you can see that's a really easy implementation for the remote config service. And that is all for the game's backend solutions.
Hello, my name is Matt Domlinger, and I would like to talk to you about Unity Gaming Services Analytics. UGS Analytics enables studios of all sizes to understand their game's performance and player behaviors. You can capture insight quickly using pre-built dashboards and visualization powered by reliable, real-time data. Then use that data to improve your project and make a more compelling and engaging experience for your audience. UGS Analytics is built for ease of use by teams of all sizes and experience levels. UGS Analytics starts generating information right out of the box thanks to our standard events, allowing your team to have data as quickly as possible. UGS Analytics can easily be customized based on your studio goals through things like custom events, audiences, and reporting. Our goal is to provide a solution that is new user-friendly while being powerful enough for teams with more analytics experience through tools like SQL Data Explorer. UGS Analytics is key for any successful live service game by allowing you to understand your game's performance and player behaviors to make more informed decisions for your game. You can see if players are stuck on a certain level, churning out of your game in a short period of time, or not engaging with your monetization offerings. Now that I've spoken a bit about what UGS Analytics is, let me show you the tool in action. This is the dashboard for Unity Gaming Services Analytics. I want to focus on a couple features of UGS Analytics: the pre-built dashboards, the event manager, the event browser, and the SQL Data Explorer. First, let's take a look at the pre-built dashboards. These dashboards were designed to easily show your game's performance, retention, revenue, and user acquisition at a glance. These dashboards can all be filtered more deeply based on country, platform, version, audience, and date. All the reports and visualizations can be exported as PNG files or CSV files. This makes it easier to share your game's data with team members or outside groups like investors. You can also have UGS Analytics on multiple environments for your game to make sure it is working with every update your game has. Now let's look at specifics for each pre-built dashboard. The game performance dashboard shows you the health of your player base. You can easily see daily, weekly, and monthly active users along with session length. Next, let's look at the retention dashboard. This dashboard shows you how well you are retaining players and what is your current churn rate. This can help your team see any issues with onboarding new players and issues with your early game that could be leading to players leaving the game early. The third dashboard is revenue. This dashboard shows the revenue of your game is that it is generating through in-app purchases for daily, weekly, and monthly. It also shows you the conversion rate, and please note that only revenue from in-app purchases is shown on this dashboard. Revenue from ads is in the monetization section of Unity Gaming Services Analytics. The final pre-built dashboard is for user acquisition. This dashboard shows you all the KPIs for new players in your game. How many do you have? How much are they spending? And how long are they staying in your game? This again can show you the health of your game and your player base. Now let's take a look at the Event Manager and Event Browser. Events are what generate data for analytics. An event is any action a player performs in your game. Logging on, completing a level, failing a mission, purchasing an item from a shop are all examples of events. Event Manager shows you all the events your game is using. Standard events come by default with UGS Analytics. These standard events give valuable data to all development teams and genres of games. Event Manager also allows you to create custom events. Depending on the genre and platform of your game, you will need to create unique events to match what your players can do in your game. To do so, simply click the Add New, select Custom Events, and give it a name and description. Now all you need to do is add the event in your game's script in Unity, and you will start receiving data. Making sure your events are working properly is key to the success of analytics. This is where Event Browser comes in. Event Browser shows you valid and invalid events. This helps your teams know what data they are seeing is correct, but also allows you to debug any issues with invalid events. You can see the timestamp of when the event occurred, the user ID, the event name, and the reason why the event was valid or why it failed. Finally, for UGS Analytics, I want to take a look at SQL Data Explorer. With Legacy Analytics, you need to receive feedback that many users weren't happy about having to export their game's analytic data into another tool to run SQL queries. Unity listened to this feedback and added SQL Data Explorer to UGS Analytics. SQL Data Explorer allows users to run SQL queries on their data, plot the results into different types of visualizations, and then share the data throughout their team. The SQL query I have here is fairly basic, showing unique users over specific days, but it's a great example of how SQL Data Explorer runs and how it visualizes your data. This is just a small glimpse of everything UGS Analytics has to offer. Please go to the Unity Gaming Services website to check it out for yourself. Unity is always looking for more feedback on tools like UGS Analytics. The final section of this UGS Overview Bootcamp will focus on monetization. Monetization can be a touchy subject for some developers and players, but it is something that live service games must pay attention to. Monetization, when correctly done, can not only fund your game, but also give players value and keep them interested in remaining an active player. Unity wants to provide you the tools to successfully monetize your game in any way you would like. I will briefly go over some of the offerings of UGS monetization. First, there's Unity Ads. Unity ads are very familiar to mobile game developers. These are ads that play during your game and are a great way to monetize when used correctly. There are 3 types of ads: banner, interstitial, and rewarded. Banner ads are small ads that will cover the upper or lower part of the screen. Interstitial ads are short videos that play full screen on your game. Usually these cannot be skipped by the players. When using these, you need to be careful not to break immersion or interrupt gameplay. The final type is rewarded ads. These are also full screen ads, but players receive a small in-game reward for watching through the entire ad without skipping. These can be very effective since players get something for watching the ad. Now let's look at something related to ads, mediation. As you become more familiar with Unity ads, you'll want to take a look into Unity Mediation. Unity's mediation tool enables quick network setup, easy waterfall management, and clear reporting to take action and continue earning. This will help your team make sure they are generating higher yields for your game's ads. In a nutshell, mediation helps you play the most profitable ads during your game. Now let's talk about the in-app purchases. With Unity in-app purchase, setting up in-app purchases across iOS, Mac, Google Play, Windows, and other app stores has never been easier. You can enable an in-app purchase across multiple stores with a single unified API. Once enabled, you get the insight you need to fully understand and optimize your in-game economy. In-app purchases are a great way to monetize your game, and Unity wants this to be as easy as possible to set up with your in-app purchase shop. Finally, let's talk about Unity Acquire. Unity Acquire enables you to easily run ad campaigns that can be seen by millions every day on apps and games. A diverse ad supply, advancing targeting tools, insightful analytics, and self-serve dashboards help you manage your campaigns and profitably scale your game or app. If you're interested in Unity Acquire, please reach out to the Unity team to get more information about it. Let me wrap up this bootcamp by again reiterating the value of Unity Gaming Services and giving you some resources to get more information on everything we've talked about today. Unity Gaming Services is here to solve the developer challenges of building live games with tools for multiple services, game operations, user acquisition, and monetization. Unity wants teams of all sizes to succeed, and we believe UGS is what you need. We also want these solutions to be affordable for all teams. Unity does not want to price you out of the tool, and for smaller teams, you can use many of these solutions for free. Unity also wants feedback on everything Unity Gaming Services has. If there is something not working well, something missing, or something that could be improved upon, we want to hear about it. Reach out to Unity or the developer advocates via social media or email. We will respond and get back to you as soon as we can. We have included several links that will give you more information about Unity, Unity Gaming Services, and some sample projects on GitHub. These GitHub projects can be downloaded for free and will give you a great starting point to learn about UGS and its features. I encourage you to check out all of these links, but if you still have trouble finding answers to any of your questions, please reach out. Thank you for taking the time to watch this presentation, and keep an eye out for more Unity Gaming Services bootcamps coming out later this year. Have a great day.